Daphne Gottlieb. This is a world premiere reading because I've never read this out loud. The story is called What H is For, and it's from the book Pretty Much Dead, which will be coming out in July of 2015. Dear H, there is no front or back to the letter H. From the side, it is two people shaking hands. It's a mirror, it's a ladder step. It was good to see you for dinner while you were in town and to meet your family. Does it make sense to you if I tell you that you seem so big now? Teeth and head and arms and legs. You built a family on you and you are sturdy. You have always been sturdy. H is what I call you. It's what you call me. It started when I moved in next door. You saw the big H over the mailbox and that was it. Hey H, what you doing H? I'm not H, I said. You're H. We both coiled, ready to strike. Then you made a move. Okay, you said. We went back to breathing. Do you want some water? I said. It was hot. And now we were H. To each other, to your parents, to my dad. What's H doing? Do you want to see if H wants some? H would never do that. Why can't you be more like H? H is for heart. Mine was born on the right side of my body. In fact, all my organs are reversed. Dextrocardia. Everything is in the right place backwards. Everything started that way. Everything is still that way. I was special. You were exceptional. You won every award and prize. Your handwriting was neat. You never meant to hurt me. The neighborhood was not H. You tried to sell the other kids on me, softened them by saying, this is H. He doesn't have a mother. His heart is in the wrong place. They played with me when I was with you. I had your friends when I was nearby. I spent all my time with you. I didn't have time anymore for my favorite game. It wasn't really my favorite, but I played it the most. It was called Is That Mommy? Every time I saw a woman on the street over the age of 15 or so, I asked, is that Mommy? With my ESP. I knew that I would know when I found her. My ESP got tired when I was out for hours, but I was valiant. I can't quite explain what it's like to be a right-hearted person. To say it's 1 in 12,000 is not enough. You see the world differently, I guess. The blood runs backwards, bubbles math into poetry and words into light and law, and it's lonely. I never knew what to do about the lonely. The other kids tolerated me because I was interesting with my backwards body and my no mother. What does she look like? They'd ask. I don't know, I'd say. Don't you have photos? They asked. No, I'd say. How'd she die? They would ask. Heart attack, I'd say. That's what my father said to say. Close enough, he said. My mother's name was so common, the internet was useless to try and find her. At least in my hands. I don't know how long it took you, how long you'd been trying to find her. You were trying to do something good. You were exceptional. Do you remember the summer you went away with your parents to drive to Arizona to see your aunt and uncle? That was the summer I met a snake. It was a small green garter snake, one the color of Chinese pottery or celery in the rain or AM radio 28 years ago. I met him when I was climbing the willow tree. I looked down from the limb I was sitting on and he was on the ground, but stretching up his body so it was half neck, and he was waving at me. Hello, I said. He waved. In that moment, he became an H. Hello. I wasn't old enough to know the word methamphetamine yet. It would be at least 5 years before I could spell psychosis or schizophrenia. It would be a decade before I found out methamphetamine tasted like sweet leather, but right then I already knew what it felt like to want to die. So did my father. I could see it on his face when I told him to tell me the truth. The truth! Tell me the truth! He turned away and rubbed his eyes and his breath rippled. That summer, I spent every day with Hello. He coiled around my wrist or wrapped around my neck. He liked me because I was warm, I think, but there was more. He came to me. He wanted to be with me. He stretched up and up to reach me. It wasn't because I was with you. Hello and I played snake charmer and sword swallower except with a snake. We played nature TV show and we explained how to pick dandelion greens and pick chamomile for tea. Hello wore the yellow flowers as a wig. The viewers loved that. Snakes sleep outside, said my father. They don't make beds long enough to have indoor snake sleepovers. So every night I put Hello back at the base of the willow tree where we met. And every morning in the thick summer air he was waiting for me after breakfast. I didn't want your mother with her blossoms of curls and her bubble bath laugh. I didn't want your school lunches with their interminable carrots. I didn't want your skin that blistered in the fevered sun. I wanted the okay that you exuded, the calm acceptance, the home. H is for home. H looks exactly the same in the mirror no matter which side you're on. My father, with the box of photos he'd kept hidden my whole life, he couldn't talk. The tears ran and ran. Photo after photo fell into my hands. She ran from the photographs into my brain, into my heart. My heart beat her backwards. She was already in my blood. It must have been weeks later. I went to the willow tree and hello wasn't there. I called him and nothing. I heard a very small breeze and I looked over and he was in the flower bed at the base of the daffodils. I was so happy to see him. I took a running step towards him before I noticed that his jaw was unhinged and bloody. His eyes were now useless black smudged sockets. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I started yelling, a mouth like O, a yell like I. We went to junior high. You took piano lessons. I went to counseling. You took math and science and QWERTY and O and one and O and I. I took the drugs they gave me. I could barely stay awake. I could stay in my skin, but I couldn't keep my eyes open. Oh, you went to high school. I went inpatient. At dinner, you talked about tagging and clouding and some other things that I don't really understand. You talked to me about the software that bought your summer home and the settlement over IP that let you take time out from the rat race to be with your kids. Your kids, they know how to swim, water ski, play tennis, ride bikes, and are now taking Chinese and Spanish lessons so they can get around in the world. You went away to college. I kept my mother company in my room. I could feel her there. If I was perfectly still, I could feel her run through me, and if I was really lucky, my breath would stop, like hers. You did an internship. I did outpatient. I told you there was something wrong with that snake. My father said, go in the house. No, I said, go in the house. I went in the house. Everything ended. At dinner, you asked me how I do the work I do. My therapist's answer is that I'm always saving my mother. My answer is that I'm always saving myself. My heart is in the wrong place, is in the right place. I love every broken thing until it's whole as it is. But all those dirty people on drugs, all those crazy people, it must be so depressing, your wife says. Your kids poke each other with forks. You are successful, but I am right. My father buried hello in the flowers. The next spring, the worms had cleaned the skeleton gaudy pale. I picked up every wishbone of his spine. Now it's framed and over my mirror. Every morning I say, hello. It is so hard to put it back together, and it's never the same. Putting little glowing hints together, connecting them. Hello, life. I went to school. I went traveling. I volunteered. I started working. I work, and I love it like family. Your wife said it must be very rewarding work. Not financially, of course, but rewarding. I said, it's all I have. At some point during dinner, I got up and used the bathroom. You and your wife were holding hands and laughing, and the kids were animatedly talking with you both about something. I'm not sure what, but when I think of the word happy, which, of course, is an H, I will think of that moment, of that sweet light and your glazing smiles. I felt like I was outside looking in, which I am, which I was. But out here in the dark, it's good, too. You can see the stars. They shine the color of bones. It's the kind of dark that you see when you close your eyes and you wish. For that moment, anything is possible. For that moment, you can be anyone, anything. When I close my eyes, I don't have to be you. Sometimes I'm H. Sometimes I'm happy. Sometimes I'm not here at all. There are so many of us outsiders. There's no room for us in the photos, but we don't want to be in there anyway. Out here, we band together. We can keep each other warm. Our breath rises like prayers. Keep in touch.